Okay, so welcome to this workshop on sales and the closing deal. Before we start, usually we try to get to know each other, and the most important part is, what's your sales experience? So if we give each one a minute to tell us what he's doing, and maybe 2 minutes, what is his sales experience? And just for your record, we record everything around here. So if you have issues with the recording, let me know. Okay, usually your faces will not be on the recording, but your voice will. Okay, so you want to start?
Sure. So my name is Marcel Herzfeld. What you hear is the German accent, coming from Germany to Canada 10 years ago. My sales experience started at the age of 18, becoming 19, just before I finished school. We had our own business as a windsurfing shop, so that was in retail mostly. And later on, I switched through different industries. We had a second family company where we did industrial packaging, and I was on the sales side in that one too. Before I came to Canada, which was in solar control business, Venetian blinds, exterior roller shades. I was with the company in Germany as a sales director, and afterwards coming to Canada, this switched to the project management of things. This company went down to the States, and they closed their business 1.5 years later, this business unit. And this is where I decided to go back to Canada and take the opportunity to explore new fields. And this is where I decided to become a business coach, do personal coaching for business owners, and help them how to eat their elephant, to take down the overwhelm. And yeah, that's it from me.
I'm Michelle. Now I'm a quality director. I've had an interesting path of different things I've done. My sales experience, it's come more from a customer service perspective, I would say. I go all the way back to when I was in high school. I worked in retail, things like that. But it wasn't really about closing a sale. It was about serving customers. It was more that helping them find what they needed and serving that way. So from a traditional, more, I guess you say, more hardcore sales perspective, where you're like closing a deal and stuff like that, I haven't really done any sales training in that regard. But most of my businesses tend to be a softer sell. You focus on education, awareness, and customer service, and allow the customer to make an informed decision. But knowing how to kind of transition that gap is sort of why I'm here. And I have a background in IT as well, and then massage in between there. So I have a varied path of different experiences, but my focus has always essentially been health and wellness.
Okay. My name is Marianne Van Gogh, and I started in Canada as a dairy farmer, and have been working like that for 30 years with our own dairy farm. And the first 10 years I worked for the government as a consultant with dairy farmers. And so then I became a Psyche instructor after we sold. And so I teach people how to change their limiting beliefs. And 99% of my people came to the website, main by Psyche website, and Dr. Bruce Lipton, who talks about the biology belief. And then they find me because he recommends taking Psyche. And so I have had no sales experience with that at all until last year. I decided that I had to start doing something, to get more people, more clients. And so I've had a business coach for 3 months, and so I have improved my sales. Got an intake form which helped a lot, but I have a lot to learn.
My name is Faraz, and I work on mobile app solutions. And my sales experience has mostly only started about a couple of years ago, just trying to get, clients on board, meetings with people, networking. But it's been starting to ramp up mostly in the last couple of months, where I've been trying to actually sell a product and going to different businesses, talking with them, and just trying to, close deals. And that's my sales experience.
I'm Michael Borthwick. I've been a serial entrepreneur since I was 12. When I tried to sell my first program that I wrote. It was a video game. And I've done a number of startups since then. Right now I'm currently working on New.Spot. We do websites primarily, but we also do some mobile apps as well on the software side of things. Spent the last 10 years as a developer working in different .com startups. My sales experience, formal sales experience, included a stint selling bearings, belts, and shifts for a company called BC Bearing. First as inside sales representative and then outside technical solutions rep. I was taught solution sales, and so my approach has always been find the problem, find the pain point, and then provide them with a solution. Try to sell that solution. I was responsible for BC Bearing and Canadian Bearings landing the Coca-Cola contract, which is a $50 million a year deal. It's my largest one. My favorite one was the space elevator. You wouldn't believe the kind of bearings that go into a space elevator. Anyways, that was fun. So I have some experience, but not a lot.
Okay, so we expect more people to come in, and we have a few cancellation because of the weather conditions. So we will do it. So who here has for his business sales process? Sales process. Does anyone develop a sales process for his business? Like you mentioned, you have an intake form. So in a sales process, it's a function how to move people through the chain. So if we scale a little bit outside and say, okay, who I'm trying to target? Who is my ultimate target? Usually we don't know. So I have my own model, which we know that people are general people. Then you can develop your audience. And under the audience, there are target audience. Then you can have your lead. They will lead to prospects. And this is people will say how to move the suspect to prospects, if you heard this term before. And then you have a client. The client can turn to be a customer, and this will be very valid for the mobile applications. And then you can have the recurrent customers or referral customers. So just to recap, because we spent maybe you have another course just talking about this basic level. So you have general audience, which may be everybody driving by your building. They will see your sign. This will be general audience. The general will come to be an audience once they'll be interested to examine what do you have. Selling over the internet or through blogs, you basically convert the general to audience once they read your blogs. When they do a call to action, they will be a lead. When they have a conversation, they transform to prospects, and then there are here clients and customers. So can you tell me what do you think about the difference between a client and a customer? Is client and customer are the same? Is client is the same as a customer?
Can be, but doesn't necessarily have to.
So is a client and customer?
In my terminology, it is because.
Okay. It is.
Yeah.
Anybody have a different opinion? Okay. In these models, because when we talk about what does it mean closing, when it talks about what does it mean closing, you will understand that there is a small differentiation between a client and a customer. Very minor difference. And the minor difference is the customer is the one who will pay you the money. But the client will not pay you money. So because we talk about not really generic, but generic in a way, definition of how we can sell. In social media, your clients, when they start and they want to practice your service, they are clients. The minute they start to pay you money, after the free trial, they become a customer. In business, where you sell, we have someone who will be coming. He sells to school. So when you sell to schools, your client are the students and the parent of the students. But your customer is the Calgary Board of Education, the Catholic Board of Education, the school itself. This model is meant in this way because you have to understand each one of these people you need to have an avatar for. And you need to have a way to move them through the channel or the funnel to where to put money in your pocket. That's right. Because we are in business for fun and we're enjoying it, but we also want to do living. So there is the outcome of money. And then you can ask for referral and return customer from these people. So this is the chain which we have as a model. That's why many of you, when I was talking about their personal, their marketing material, they felt like I'm attacking it too much. It's not that I'm attacking it, it's I'm putting myself here. So for example, let's talk about what you do. So what you do?
Pilates.
So I personally one of the general people who don't know what it is, who don't know what will do for me. However, a prospect or a client, which means he tried before, he will need a different level of information about how good you are compared to other vendors. But here, most likely what I'm looking for is what will do for me, how it will help me, and why do I have to be engaged or interested in this service. That's it. So when you try to draft your own marketing material, you have to understand these levels. So for a construction company, for example, if they are approaching a construction company, they will be giving them more technical material. If they talk to the homeowner or the audience, they will try to show them how their service better than other service, not what they use to build the product, because they don't care. So any material you develop, any messaging you develop, anyone in front of you need to be identified within these categories. Unfortunately, you cannot remember, you have to remember them. You cannot have a cheat sheet and you cannot tell the guy, oh, you know what, wait, I will look up, oh yeah, it's a check mark here. You cannot do that. You have to build it up by practice. Many of us don't practice this. So you have to build up by practice, that you keep practicing for like 3 to 6 weeks. You will be professional in trying to see where these people, if these classes are too much for you, it's so simple. Make them 3 classes for now. Okay? Does it make sense? So, sales the process is how you will take somebody from here to be able to invoice them with money. The biggest challenge in small business owners and in people like us is we did not have a formal sales training to sell information products. We always have sales training to sell cars and sell other solutions for others, but not to sell information products. And almost everybody around the table is selling information products. So what are the sales process? What are the tools it can be included in sales process? Mariana said she has an intake form. So the intake form, so what you will do after the intake form?
Well, after the intake form, I do a process with them to give an example what I can do.
Okay, so you show an example.
Yeah, and then I tell them how I can help with the processes that I have.
Okay. So you customize
Yeah, I customized.
the solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Then how you collect the money? Do you use a Square? Do you use Infusionsoft? Do you use a software?
I have an credit card machine.
So she has a credit card machine, and then you do an invoice.
Yeah, I have a contract.
Okay. So this is some sort of a process. This process needs to be written somewhere. Each one of us must have a manual where, like for me, when I got the forms which you will fill shortly, I have these forms in my on my hard disk, and I have it in my manual. I will basically grab the form, print it before any workshop. That's it. So this information need to be clear, written clear inside your business manual, or I call it usually business playbook. Okay. The question right now is that this course is sales and the close deals. So we try to target mainly closing. And just to warn you here, if you want to talk about aggressive sale or not sound salesy, you basically learn the system first and then break it. Learn the rules and then break it. There is nothing sound salesy when you don't have enough money to buy your basic needs, or to grow your business, because you cannot close someone. So the question will be is, if you take someone, so does anybody take somebody in this particular sequence in their business? I know Shamir did. Shamir does all the time. But does anyone else take?
Yeah,
You take some
I
people,
get more from the target route.
which is here.
Yeah. Like I get more targeted stuff.
Okay.
But I do
So the
general
question is, why you cannot close all of them to money? And this is what I'm trying to target today. Before we answer this question, should I ask this question first? So when the closing will happen? If we have these stages in this way, when the closing will happen?
A, B, C, always be closing.
So when the closing will happen? Like ABC is right, always be closing. But in this sequence or this model of your clients, when and in which stage you need to close them?
between prospect and your first seed, because you're starting to have the conversation to determine if they're.
Are you
really-
sure?
That's
Are
what
you
I-
sure?
I would say sooner.
Unfortunately, you have to close all the way.
Yeah.
You have to close from here to here. You have to close from here to here. And this is wrong perception of the term closing the deal. So before I have a conversation with you guys, I have to have a target. What is my closing target? Is my closing target seminar, a workshop, for you to pay me money, for you to come to attend, for you to come to as a lead? What is my closing to the next level? Nothing wrong with having somebody from general to pay me money. You will like that, that's right? I like it.
Mm.
Somebody walking by, he will come general, he come by and go away. I love it. However, 80% of the businesses has to take their clients all the way step by at a time, and they have to close in the proper time. And what I will show you today is when you can close and when you can discuss dollars and money, and when can you introduce your product. Because there is a chain of actions here that you may not present your products till a specific level or a certain level. Agree? Okay. So the other part which we talked about it a lot before we start. So I will focus more on rejections here, but I will also we'll also discuss all the way through how to get through. The ultimate goal from today is you walk away with the scripts. I have this workbook for the course, and we will have some more copies coming soon. And all what this is about is to come up with a script. So if you want to move these people across, this you are dealing with humans. That's right. Like these customers are humans at the other end. That's right. So these humans, you must adopt a deep understanding of how they behave first. In one of the courses we talked about it here, we described the decision behavior. Just to give you the summary for people who are not in the program, we understand that people will decide based on dollars or relationship, process, or time. Urgency and time to delivery. These are the 4 triggers for people to make a decision. And if I go through the room and I will ask each one of you, all of you the same question, if you will get $100 million in a lottery winning ticket, what you will do with it? So what you will do with it?
Start more businesses.
What you will do with it?
Probably the same.
What you will do with
What
it?
did you say?
Start more businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You win $100 million bucks?
Yeah.
I just go and buy an island.
Okay. What you will do with it?
I like that.
That's why I have a business, so I can go buy an island.
What you will do with it, Marianne?
Um,
Okay, you think. What you do with it?
Help family, friends, pay off
Thank
debts.
you. What you do with it?
Combo. I would do some debt stuff. I would
Thank you.
reinvest in my business.
What you will do with it?
Put it to good use and help people.
Okay. Why I stopped you, because we have too much material. We have like 285 pages to cover. Okay. But what I want to tell you is, was the very first statement you said. And just to make sure you understand that, we are here in a safe environment. I have no intention to insult or assault anybody, but I have to cut people because of the time for a reason. But I want to show you that one thing. The one who is thinking about it, she is more like a process oriented. The ones he talk about the island or helping people are more like relationship. These are the hard people. The one who wants to make more money or to expand more business, they are in this area. That's it. Very simple question I can ask in the very beginning. What did you do last weekend? It tells me automatically who is my client. And this is very important because there are specific words, if you use them right, you will trigger with these people. So for people, when you have a relationship and they love relationship and they love humans, you cannot sell them a process-based model. You cannot tell them, I will sell you a energy healing system which will work as following. We will take the chakras assessment and you'll have 6 sessions to unblock each chakras, and then you have another 3 sessions of maintenance. Although this is a heart-related sale for a process-oriented, you cannot say that. If you come and approach them and say, because you know they are feelers, you say, I have this chakra healing system, which answers the question why you have tough time with your loved ones. It will help you get closer to your loved ones. It will help people to love you more. It will help you. It will help it actually the same program will help you to have a positive impact on your loved ones and surrounding. People will buy. They don't need to know how it works. They make a decision right away. Do you agree on that? A CEO, for example, when you try to sell him a product or a software, you say it will work in the very first day, no bugs, it will be delivered, because he cares about time to delivery. He cares about time to results. Somebody on the money side, money is not greedy, although in some of the examples I have, we'll talk about 16 types of customers. One of them called the greedy customer, which wants everything to cheap. So I will show you a couple of techniques how to deal with that. So a greedy, money does not mean greedy. Money means he's sensitive to spend money. However, he will pay on a Porsche or a Corvette lots of money, and he will nickel and dime his wife because she had a coffee in a Starbucks against Tim Hortons because Tim Hortons is cheap. Okay? From his perspective, it's right. What amazed me is like 3 years when I start to understand these particular models, I figure out that I can retire at 28 years old. I didn't have to wait till 38 years old to retire, because this has showed me in my whole life why if every single fraction I had in my life, why every single success I have in my life, because every single one came into my life, I was able to understand his perspective. It helped me with conflict. When I have a conflict with someone, I understand from where they are coming. One more thing before we go away, two more things, okay? The first thing is each one of us will have at least 2 and at most 3 of this trigger. There is nobody found yet has the 4. Okay? The second one is this is our diverging attitude. Which means if somebody is process oriented, he doesn't care much about how much he will spend. He doesn't care much about credibility. If somebody is time oriented, he doesn't care about people. That's why majority of us in our early career has been fired, because our boss did not like the fact that our son or our kid was sick and we did not show up for work without making a phone call or making an arrangement. Because our responsibility for our kids is much higher when we are in a relationship. But for the boss who is more about time to delivery because he wants to catch a specific profit margins, it does not work together. Does it make sense? Do you agree on it? Does anybody... Have you seen this before? Okay. Where did you see this before?
I was working one place where I had made an arrangement with the supervisor that I had to take care of my child. But when I got there 2 hours late, the big boss wasn't aware that I already made arrangements. So
Okay, but did you see this model before?
this model, I've seen similar versions of it.
Okay, but you have the experience. So, if you have any conflict with anybody, try to figure out this. And believe me, you know when they tell you put yourself in her shoes or put yourself in his shoes, this is exactly what you do. It's not to go to have to wear the wrong shoes or the other shoes, okay? When they tell us put yourself in the other people's shoes, they never describe what does it mean. When they tell you look at the other people's mind, they never describe what does it mean. So how many of you here will have one type of these clients, or all of us will have all clients? How general will be? How general is general? So the general audience for us are all of these. So just a hint here, our marketing material must address all of this. So maybe some of you now may understand why when I was attacking your marketing material for the first time, out of love for you, because you're not my client at the time, but you need to understand that your marketing material need to address this. If you want to get more information about how, you can either look at some of the recording classes I have on the university website, which is Win Your Brand Academy or whatever we have there, or you can come to one of other courses which we do on marketing. Yes, sir.
One other question. Normally, the conventional thinking is that if you have a $500 product you want to sell, that you have to warm people up to that amount. So you want to sell them a $100 product, but that basically focuses on the dollar portion of that decision making.
This is focused more that for you to get higher dollar here,
Yeah.
you need to build higher credibility.
Right.
So there is a way. there is a way to increase the dollar. If you have higher credibility, you can sell higher dollar value.
But I was just thinking, yeah,
So-
you know me, I'm a process guy, right?
No, I understand. I want to make sure you understand one thing. If you come, what's the difference? And unfortunately, because this is only a 6 hours course, so I don't have enough time to run different videos, which is one of the videos I love. What's the difference between a $50,000 job and a $100,000 job for someone? Difference is nothing, as they are the same people, same education. The guy who is in a higher pay rate because he shows more credibility, and this credibility you can have it for your business. How you get credibility to your business? In what way?
Testimonials. You get
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Testimonials is one way to get credibility. What other ways to get credibility in your area? How I want to know that your app is credible?
I guess how many people I've sold it to.
Or if you can give me an access and it deliver what you promise, it will be credible. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's why when you try to sell mobile apps, because we are not Apple, you must take the clients through the steps of what to do to get delivery. Because if anybody will download their own app and they will not use it during the trial, you have no credibility. Oh, I downloaded it, it actually discredits you. So the decision making of having money, it's not, we will learn later that the money is not true. We will learn later that the money objections are not true objections at all.
Like I was going to say, you're asking it from the other way to the decision, right? So I'm not motivated by money, right? So I'm going to be motivated by other reasons. So I don't care how much your solution or whatever your product costs. If it's giving me value in the other areas, the money is irrelevant. I'll find a way to
But
afford
there
it.
are people who are motivated by money.
There are people. My ex actually, when you said that, I'm talking about we'll pay for big ticket stuff, but then nickel and dime on a
Yep.
Starbucks. Oh my God, I know why that relationship
Because
didn't work.
because he is not credible. By the way, I'm one of the very few people which have been accredited and claimed by somebody who is able to deal with any of this. Because I learned over 3 years how to step out and be the other guy. Mine is time, dollar, and the process. But I resonate well with anybody about feelers. That's why some of you feelers here exist, and some of you feelers here apologize and said they cannot make it. They care. Each one of these has a characteristic which we described in our course. I don't want to repeat the material here, but as I said, like if you are interested to know more, and if you don't have anybody to write your website, or you write your marketing material, or write your interface, or write your tools, you should spend a little bit understanding of this. If you believe the solution you have will help anybody in this area, you should spend a little bit of time. Otherwise, you pay somebody lots of money. That's why copywriting and the marketing material are not $100, $200 a piece. When people write them right, they address this, they understand the philosophy, they understand the word. And we did a couple of workshops here on how to pick up the power words and what exactly and how to do it. So this is the Bible or the basic knowledge of this group here. Okay? Any questions? Okay. So when you meet somebody like here, so you will be the one who's interacting with one of these clients. That's right. You should be able to figure out what's the type of your clients, to pick up the proper words to use. So if we are lucky enough to know like healers and feelings and the law of attraction and all kind of these are mainly, their clients are majority around here. There are only 2 individuals in this room. They try to bring this learning to people in this area. That's what make me really excited about working with them, because If you try to bring the healings area to management and people are business oriented,
Push.
so if you are trying to bring the education to these people, you are basically using different language to convert better with these people. Okay? Does it make sense?
You need more trust. Those people need more time usually.
No. All your perceptions about time, money, I need you to keep them out. You can actually walk to somebody, sell him a product, because anybody will walk to 7-Eleven, or you like Max Store, or you like Safeway. They go in and they will buy an item they don't need for their home because it's on sale, or because there is a demo, or because there is a sign, or because it looks great. That's right? Without needing this item. How many of you here will, after the years, they will find out they bought few items that they never really opened, they forget about them, they expired, and they put them to the garbage? Okay? So all your perception, and when you mention these perceptions with me in different meetings, I cannot really try to challenge your opinion, because there is a process for people to learn, and you are here in the process. There is a process for people to open up, to listen to what does this mean. So the basic assumptions we have is there is nothing about money, there is nothing about they need. It's our role to position position our products that they are needing this product and use the proper language. And we have to do this with Essex level, high Essex level, because we are selling value. That's right. Each one of you agree that he has a solution to convert sad face to a happy face. That's right. So if you don't have a solution that you strongly agree that move somebody from being sad to be happy, please leave, because we are only teaching people who have a product or service can make people getting values and convert from being sad to a happy people. If you have if you are selling even cars will help people to get more luxury. Even cars will do that. If you're selling milk, if you're selling anything. So all the assumptions you have about it's too much money, people will go buy different brand of milk and put $2-3 more per gallon, and they are the same milk from the same cow. By the way, it's the same processing plant, but under different license they have different logos. Okay, I did lots of work with local producers from meat processing producers, and it's the same. They have different brand with different prices, but all the brands and the prices are produced in the same. All the product and the prices are produced in the same plant. How many of you here will go to any place and find these new chickpeas cans? Read on the back of the chickpeas cans, because the chickpeas is #1 product in Canada right now, in pulses. Canada's #1 producer, not anymore India, which is interesting enough. Canada's #1 producer and exporter of chickpeas. And all the 6 or 7 brands which look like Indian origin or Arabic origin or Mexican origin, all of them are produced by one company called AGT in one plant in Toronto, and they ship all over the place. And all of them are what? Canadian chickpeas. Are not imported. And they have different brand, and they vary from 88 cents up to $2.50. And all of them taste the same. And I have experience when we got an expensive one time was actually much awful than the regular one. So I can give you lots of examples about why your perceptions on pricing are not correct. Okay? Do you agree? Okay, so we will start first. So we have to have the hat. We have to be open that we are now in a sales role. When you be in your as a entrepreneur or a small business owner, you are a salesman. Like it or hate it, you are a salesman. And as my good friend Colin will say, if you are in a relationship right now with anybody, even with your neighbor, in a good relationship with your neighbor, it means you sold yourself. If you have a partner, if you have a wife, if you came up from divorce and you have a girlfriend, if you have anybody just coming smiling to your face and say hi in the morning, if you even your mom and your dad or your brother and sister will call you up on a regular basis and say hi, it means you sold yourself to them. Because we know so many people who have friends and families, they don't call them at all. That's right. So do you agree that all of us are salesmen at this moment? Okay. So what are the top 10 tips for sales superstar? Number one is no objection. No objection has any meaning other than the meaning which you give to it. So if I tell you any objection, it doesn't have any meaning other than what I give to it. So if the customer will come say, you are a small company and we only buy from big companies, what does it mean?
Just give the reason not to come. You haven't got credibility with the client.
So how you take it, how you will act on this in this comment. I have actually a written script for this particular one. So how you will act on it as a superstar.
You tell me.
So if somebody will come and say you are a small company, I never heard about you,
Yes.
how you will act on it? Do you have an
Yeah,
idea?
we will be positive. Yes, say yes. We are every big company is a small company in the beginning. Yes, I accept. But we try to be different and we try to reach you
Okay.
better.
You start right and you slipped because we don't use the word try.
Try, I was gonna say, yeah, we do differently.
We don't start the word try. So if somebody will come and say you are nobody in town, it's for me it's a good time to show my credibility. It's for me a good time to show why the service he will get from me as a small company will be the best service ever. It's for me the time to demonstrate who are the other clients I really helped or I'm in discussion with, and it's starting of a conversation. So when you say you are nobody, it's only me in my mind. What does it mean? If somebody will come and say, so what's your name? Sorry, I didn't get your name. Paul. Okay, Paul. Somebody say, you know what? I don't like this I don't like you guys as elevator company. I don't want to do business with you. What does it mean? Is this a dead road? How you shifted?
Our technology is patented and it will make life better.
It's beautiful. However, I'll just skip this part for one thing. When you deal with a client, you have first to agree with them. Okay? There are 3A rules which will, or 3A laws which I will explain in a few minutes. But the first thing, so you may want to come and say, yeah, I understand why you don't want to do business with us. I understand why you don't like me. But however, I am one of the guys trying to avoid the word but. Because I don't want to say but. My butt will get irritated. So don't say but. However, we are about delivery service, not about us. The business is not us. If you don't like me, it's okay. The technology we provide is a patent technology. It's a very well customized solutions. So no objections has any meaning other than the meaning you give it to. If somebody will come and say, your price is expensive, and in this workbook you will see there's I think like 18 different scripts to deal with the word you are expensive. So when somebody say your price is expensive, what does it mean? It means he needs more justification why my service is give him much better value, and the price is not even a question. I have so many untrained salespeople who will come back and say, oh yeah, the customer said we are too expensive. So what do you do about it? Nothing. We cannot sell them, it's very expensive. Our very first problem we create for ourselves in small companies, that we try to get people to sell who they don't know how to sell. Okay, if I affirm with Paul, for example, that my price is expensive, and Paul and Shamir are friends, and then I will go to Shamir, and Shamir will go to the bar in one of these Shamir is very well diverse in meetup meetings, so he goes to so many of them. So in one of these meetings, he will say, oh, he will meet in the bar with Paul, and then say, oh, we know this company, Oh, Paul will say, oh yeah, they came to me, I told them they're very expensive, and they agreed with me. This will create a reputation in town. It's very simple. So when I start my very first business, early in, we did web development back 1995, 1994, 6. We didn't know this. People will go around and say you are very expensive people, and then we created this kind of phenomena so we are very expensive, which we were not, because we're driving more value. So one of the biggest challenge we have that we hire salespeople, they don't know how to sell. That's why I always recommend, if you have salespeople, you must give them material to read, scripts customized to your business. And when you have this material customized to your business, what will happen? They will use it. You train them how to use it. And you sit with them in a room and let them practice this material, which is what we will do eventually sometime today. Okay? Any questions?
So you're saying agree with them and give some justification?
I will show you a complete system. Like, we are on page 7 and we still have to go to 85, to 285. So. Number 2 is you are 100% responsible for the loss of the sale. So the outcome of every client interaction, you are the one which is 100% responsible of, not nobody else. So if you lose a client, you are responsible. You don't say, oh yeah, the client didn't like it. Oh, the client doesn't want me to call me back again. Do you agree on that? So what will happen when the client will say, don't call me? What you will do?
Call them back later.
If you close with the client saying, don't call me back, I am busy, you cannot call him. You must close at a level which say, yeah, I understand you are super busy and you are overwhelmed. However, my solutions will be a use for you like all of other clients in the same business as you are. So would you mind if I follow up with you in 2-3 weeks? One of the closing is actually to get people inside 2-3 weeks or inside a follow-up meetings. Okay? Any questions with that?
What if you try to meet in person? Will help or it's not? Like you have a client and he's not happy with you, and then he said, "Don't call me again." One suggestion you already suggested. What about if I can try to meet in person? Will help?
There is a couple of scripts on how to meet people and how to pass the gatekeeper. Okay. Number 3, which is one of the important things, is you always have to be calm in front of the customer objections. And this is a very tough one to do because I know Faraz is very excited about his software, but if I come and say, yeah, like your software just screw up my machine and it didn't work, and my computer is my iPhone is crashing because of your software, Faraz will jump out of his seat and say, no, our software is correct and we do stuff right. And it's very important when you have objections, you don't get excited. You don't get nervous. You must have the poker face attitude. And you have to understand that when you shift your mind and be calm, you will not spend too much time on the same customer. Many of you I met in many small venues or expos or exhibitions and stuff like that, and it can easily trigger the one in front of you. I can easily trigger people to get them to explain more about their product. You explain more, not because you want to educate me, because you are basically triggered not to be calm. There is a page here which talk about the pitch, the sound level. That has to be calm. Yeah, okay, no problem. Smile and keep going. So being calm is number 3. Number 4, no one can make you feel, or no one has the power to make you feel bad unless you let them. So for me, I'm also training myself in this business, and sometimes I go to events and people will basically offend me. And early on I was just upset, and I would go and I would slap the door behind me. Guys, you know why? They don't appreciate who I am and what credential I have and how much experience I have. If you think about it correctly, people sometimes offend you because they are in competition, or they feel threatened from your offer, from you around. Especially when I go hang around, like I built 7 businesses in Canada, 22 worldwide. I was a university professor. I sat on different G8, G20 forums. I did so many things in my life. And when somebody was reading it, everybody in the room will leave, because nobody can match my caliber at my age, which is very few people in the world that can do that. But when you go around and they try to educate individuals how to build businesses and companies in Canada with grants only, I am threatening everybody else doing business plan. So when people come at me trying to offend me, to leave or to upset me, because they basically feel threatened. When somebody feels threatened from you, Paul, who has the high power? Paul or the guy who feels threatened?
Paul.
Okay? However, we are not educated enough that we will walk away and say, oh yeah, you know what, they don't like me, they hate me, no. You have to be able to control. Nobody can make you feel bad. No is not objections against you. When somebody doesn't buy your product, it does not mean he doesn't buy you. It has nothing to do. Everything dealing with objection is about sales. Is not about Paul or Wael or Marianne or Michelle or Marcel. It's not about us. It's about the sale itself. So when somebody say, I don't like you, or somebody, another one which was very common, this is the 20th call I got today about the same product. So there is a verbiage for it. But this is about the call, this is about the business, this is not about you. The issues we have as individuals is when somebody object and reject our offer, we believe they rejected us. Number 6 is dealing with objection. So if I deal with objection, dealing with objections in expert way will set you apart from any average salespeople. And here I have to tell you one thing. Some of us in the market are actually trained in sales or have knowledge of sales or read some material on sales. When somebody will struggle trying to sell me something, what does it mean about the service provider? He's not professional enough. He did not invest enough in him to be able to sell. That's right. So will you buy from somebody who did not invest enough in themselves to learn how to sell? Will anybody here buy from them? Will this give you a perception that this is established business? Majority of us are just one-man show, which is a perfume we used to have in Middle East. One-man show, perfume used to play, it will disappear. So if you are not standing and understand how to sell, and you look professional, you look much bigger than just this man, people will not trust because a single person can be hit by a bus. God bless everybody, you know. A certain person can, you remember why you have been fired? A single person will have kids. A single person will have his own problem. Like I know a business coach, and she just got her. I'm not sure how many breakups she has, but she is lately in a breakup situations, and basically she went under the radar. She's a fabulous woman business coach, one of the top one in Calgary, and everybody loves her. However, when she had her own problem with her partner, everybody will go in a mode that they don't want to talk to anybody else, right? So it must be a way that you can reflect on your audience that you are professional enough and you understand how to sell. Number 7, salespeople will learn and will keep learning, will study books, will listen to audiobooks to be on the top of their game. They will put enough time to be able to drive sales. And to be honest with you, I cannot memorize everything I learn here. I sometimes try to repeat myself. I remember when I had my companies early on, before every show, I get everybody going to the show to a room, and you have like 2-3 hours just videos playing, review of what will happen. If you run a sales team, you must have a meeting every morning, at least every week. If you don't see your sales partner every day in the morning or every week at least once or twice, you are not in a sales organization. When I go to invest in companies, or I go and try to figure out how this company is doing, I basically go and ask the same question to 5 people in the company. Same exact question. Who is your customer? What's the value of your product? What your engineering team is doing? And you'll be shocked. A company of 5 people, they don't have agreement. That's what the answer of each one of these questions. Can you imagine a company of 5 individuals don't know who is your ideal client? This is the truth. And if you have somebody who has a small company and you know 2 or 3 individuals over there, just pick up 2 or 3 questions and go there and ask and see if they talk to each other or not. So we are always being on the top of the game. Number 8, which is very important, you need to write down every objection. And once you write down every objection you can think of, plan your answer and practice them until you are fluent in the use of them. Until you are fluent in the use of them. Number 9, constantly revise your objection handling technique. And number 10, you have to believe in yourself, your product, services, and the sale professions. And unfortunately, we are not official sales people on our business card. However, we are salespeople because we are selling what we do. So we are sales people. We are no different than the salesman you walk inside a car showroom. If you don't agree on that, stop what you do, find a job with the government, and you'll be the happiest one ever. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Yeah, this is I can read for you. So when you become expert in objection handler, you can build a better rapport with clients. You can stay more focused on sales objective. You can remain on calls longer. Calls here means either phone calls or in meetings longer. You'll be less stressed. You feel great about choosing the profession. You enjoy the sales process much more. You avoid confrontation with clients. Who here has confronting his clients sometimes? Remember, these guys are or the engineering guys, right?
Mhm.
You be more persuasive. Become a master in communication in difficult situation. You will have confidence and client focus. You prevent most objections ever happening. You can make more sales and you can get a higher revenue. So here we talk about how you can prevent objections from happening.
Are you saying prevent objections or handle objections?
No, prevent objections from prevent most objections ever happening.
By addressing them in the pitch.
Mhm.
We call it proactively showing the objections. So one of the technique which I teach in presentations, that's if you do presentations, you can have a slide called question and answers. How many here will have Q&A on his website? You have a Q&A on your website?
FAQ.
Yeah. Yes.
FAQ.
Yeah, frequent asked question.
Yeah.
What do you have under that?
Some of the objection they have. Yeah. I didn't have
Is-
many, but some.
Is the only thing you have in frequently asked questions is what? Objections. So you must have something called frequently asked question about Pilates. For people like me who never know or don't know even how to pronounce it, or how to say it, I don't need to teach me, okay? But this is one of the key points. If you don't have frequently asked questions, you cannot address objections. If you are in the mode of selling to many on stage or in a seminar or in a webinar, you can actually listen to some of the recording we have, or you can come to any of these classes where we show how you can have a Q&A slide where you list all objections, and the top objection will be, it does not work for me. It works for everybody. The system is hard to use. It's simple to use for everybody. I always mention that there was an ad on the TV. They said they were describing two medications. One it treats one symptom, the other one treats 6 symptoms. And at the end of the medication, at the end of the ad, they said, and 6 is greater than 1. Because 6 is greater than 1 is not obvious inside your client, inside your audience. Oh, you treat 6, I treat 1. Okay, so who cares? But when you say 6 is greater than 1, it means I give more value. So being proactive in handling objections, it's a way for you to reduce resistance. How you will overcome objections? Because just to give you, this is not in the notes, but this is what we do. If I feel you, if I know you are which class of the 4, I can ask a couple of questions to qualify you more. I know now which type you are. So what I will do, I will say, yeah, people who are process oriented. Oh, you be like all of my clients who take advantage of my Win Your Brand programs, and many of them they don't know about the exact process. And here I will show you the process. So before the client will ask you what is the process, I'm giving him the process. I'm proactively answering his questions. It's very important if you sell a $100,000 or $25,000 product, if you can lock the client to say, because the client will object. No client has no objections. You will hear objections. If you can drive the client to give you the objection and articulate the objection that's easy to use to handle, you will be in the best situation to close the sale. I use this technique when I was writing grants to the government. I always leave a hole in the grant. And I remember one time the CEO came to me and said, we contract you to write this grant, and it's just a sluggish job, and we will not get it. And the officer sent us this email, they need all of this more information. We provide you this information. Why didn't have in the grant? So I told him, what you want? You want the grant proposal looks good, or you want the money behind the grant proposal? So the guys look at me and said, no, we want the money, but we want to have a strong proposal. I told him, okay, if you want to have a strong proposal, go hire somebody else. I can stop at this point. I will not charge you anymore. I didn't say I will refund your money. I will not charge you anymore. I will stop here and you can go find a nice writer. Following day, I got a phone call. So I respond to this email. Okay, so I got the request, I sent them back. Following day, he got a phone call because the grant was approved. In 5 days, he was able to get a $250,000 grant from the government. In 5 business days. It's never heard before. Because I've been dealing, I know any grant officer, which is my opposing client now because I want to sell him the proposal. He has an obligation to go to his boss and show what?
He's done something.
He's done the due diligence and he asked this filthy, nasty company hard questions and he went back and forth at least once or twice. So why we don't invite the client to tell us the objection which we can answer and excel? And you can reach this level. You can come at the end of the closing discussion and say, "Oh, and do you have any other questions, or let's sign the paperwork? Do you have any other questions, or give me your business card? Sorry, your credit card, or fill in the form." You can reach this level with your clients if you sit with them for like 10-15 minutes, but this takes a little bit of training. Okay, does it make sense? Okay, I want to also introduce a concept which we call it feel, felt, and found, which we call it the 3F concept. So I understand the way that you feel. Other people felt that way too. However, what they found was, and you answer the objection. So, will you come with me next week to a journey to the Bahamas? Paul, will you?
Yes.
Oh, we need objections, my friend.
I would not go with you.
I understand how do you feel. Like everybody else I dealt with, they have the same feeling. However, if you come with us, you will have the most fun giving back to the community because we are serving people in the Bahamas with values. Are you in or not?
Okay, done.
This has to come from you as statements, as words, without thinking. It just flows out of your mouth. Flows out of your mouth. Flows out of your mouth. Does it make sense to you? Do you agree on that? So this technique, you call it 3F. So you can say, I understand how do you feel? There are other people similar to you have the same feeling, which basically you confirm it. However, what they found was that our app will be the least broken app in the market, or our app. Okay? So this is a good, easy way to remember. And the problem with it, that this is not good enough to handle all objections. So maybe 60% of the objections can be dealt with in this way. So I want to take 5-minute practice. That's I want you to group like we are very nice even number, and I want to number one will give a proposition about what they sell. So each one of you has their own product to sell. That's right. Each one of you has a product to sell right now. And I wanna, the other number two, give back an objection. And then I want you to practice this. I want you to say, I understand the way you feel. Other people felt this way too. However, what they found, and then you address the objection. To give you an example, I understand how you feel, John. When I worked with a client, they felt that the initial investment was outside their budget too. After implementing Win Your Brand coaching program across their organization, they found that their sales rose by 45%, which represent 200 to 75% return on investment. This equates to a bottom line profit of 3 figures in their business.
3 figures.
Yep, 3 times.
Oh, 3 figures.
Okay.
That
So if somebody come object that I charge too much, it's very straightforward. I understand how you feel, John. When I worked with any client I have, they felt that the initial investment was outside their budget too. After implementing Win Your Brand coaching program across their organization, they found that their sales rose by 45%, which represent 275 return of investment. Because 275 is almost three times, that's right? This equates to a bottom line profit of 3 times what they used to make. What this answer means.
credibility.
This answer means that's what's your budget is for cost. What my business is investment. Whenever the client will try to push you into cost discussion or how much, let's talk about how much is your service now. Oh, I'm not selling service. You invest in our relation. So you try to avoid price discussion, you try to avoid cost discussion, and you always map it to your investment. However, your mind has to be programmed in this way. Because when you do Baladi, you do investment in what?
Your health,
Beautiful.
your wellness.
Beautiful. So when you invest $100 in your health and wellness, it's not cost, because you can make up your money. When you invest in adding an extra expensive, interesting piece like an in-home elevator, you do what? You increase the price of your house. You buy a better lifestyle. You can accommodate your loved ones, which is elderly situation. I may know more about your business than you. This is how you map it. When somebody is trying to sell a product for a restaurant, for example, your investment inside my program, as you buy a custom mobile app, is for what? Is for getting more clients? Is for increasing revenue? Is for be able to steal clients from your other competitor around the block?
Streamline your processes.
I don't care in the restaurant of the process. I have so many clients in restaurant area, so
I missed the restaurant part.
this is where you have to understand who is your client. So if my client is an elderly woman, very wealthy, has a mansion, I will talk about her and her grandkids when they come and install an elevator. But if my client is an average age like us who has elder family living in their home, I will talk about how this out of budget question. It's an investment to make your parent feel good, live longer, have less pain, and enjoy being with you and your kids. It's not about the elevator. It's not about the bullies. We're selling bullies for elevator. What you're selling for
Bearing?
bearings?
Sure.
You need to talk to these guys, because these guys, they build elevators.
I don't sell them anymore, but I know a guy.
So this is how the successful discussion. How many of you here bought a car from a salesman? Did he ever get to you and talk about how often you change oil, you do oil change, or how often you do a tire swap for winter tire? All what he talks about is what? The car is safe for the kid. If he sells a high performance car, the car is high performance, you enjoy the riding. That's right. Everything we talk about is value and enjoyment. So just before I let you do the exercise, just one more point. People will buy on pain, not on pleasure. So if you can position yourself on pain. So when I was looking for you here, guys, I'm looking for you to make more money. I'm looking for you to make more money by selling more products and plug the funnel of losing customers, because this is the pain point you have. We are not here for fun. If you can position your product to address pain, as funny as you can disagree with me, and I will tell you that Cineplex, do you know Cineplex? The cinema theater Cineplex and Landmark, they sell on the pain, not on the pleasure. Because they give you rooms for the kids to have to come for birthday, so they save you the pain of having birthday parties. On Father's Day, they let the father. Actually, there was an ad which I will not play it for the sake of time. There is an ad which they say fathers what they will do with their kids during Father's Day, have a memorable experience by coming to Landmark. So going to Landmark is not for the movie. Is I'm trying to figure out how to make sure that my kids will have a memorable experience with me, and I don't know how. So I go over there. So even movies and entertainment, they sell on pain, and this is why they sell more. They don't sell on pleasure. They will never come and say, "Come and enjoy the movie," which is interesting. So it's always better to try to sell from pain. Are you ready for the exercise?
You said attempt to avoid conversation about, was it price and something else?
It's the price and cost.
Price and cost, right, yeah, same thing.
Okay. Any questions before we start? Can you be like group of two?
I will try to send my computer.
So who's number one? Who's first? Number one. Who's number one in this group? Okay. So number one, you have 2 minutes that you can pitch your offer. You can sell what you have, and then number two has to give you an objection, and then you have another 2 minutes to overcome these objections. And we'll.
Please say that again. I missed it.
So number one will have a product to sell. So he will talk about, or she will talk about her business, and you come and say why you don't want to buy this business, why you don't want to buy this service, and then he will use the same concept. You say, understand the way you feel. He says other people felt that way, however what they found was, and what they have to say after was, is how to overcome your objection. And then we will switch, and then we will have discussions. Okay? Okay, go.
So I do software roadmap. You start with the user experience and work all the way through to the point where you're absolutely prepared to hand off your documentation to development team. What we find is if we can set up a development team for success early in the process, they can actually go faster and produce results quicker. And as a former developer, I think that the big win in this entire process is knowing what it is that I'm going to do that day. When I sit down in front of my computer, I want to know this is what I'm working on today. I've seen a lot of developers get lost in that process. I've also seen a lot of developers have great ideas for things that can be added as a feature, and then they wormhole down those feature set. They get a week off of focus, lost down this wormhole. And one of the things that the documentation that we do in software is to relate it to all the different parts we do. So while your software development team is working on building the software, you have all the languages you need to relate that product that doesn't exist yet to your marketing team in the future. So your marketing team can start working and getting ramped up in advance, so they're not hitting zero when the software is ready to go. You have to get all of your content online, all the marketing materials online, and how do you relate what that app looks like, what functions like? How do you write your frequently asked questions in advance of actually launching the app before anybody actually uses it? So we try to address all of these problems in advance by producing this playbook called software.
What's your name?
The first one is, well, I don't even know what my app's gonna look like, so I don't really want to spend money on all that stuff. I just want to get a team.
I understand how you feel. Many others have felt that way before. What we have found is that asking a developer who isn't trained specifically getting that vision out of your head and onto paper is going to have an even more difficult time getting that vision out of your head.
Sorry, for this one.
What we have found is that it's much easier to change a drawing than it is to change an actual graphical design than it is to actually change the code. So we try to get that idea out of your head in a way that makes sense for development. Most of our clients understand code.
Yeah.
So a lot of our clients have a really easy sales path to understand my level of abstraction, my area of focus is getting that idea out of your head and into a document that developers can use. It's a lot like a business plan, but in for a completely different audience. Right? If you want to write a business plan, you have to write it in a way that the bankers can understand. That's what you want. Same thing with code. You need to write it in a way that developers can understand. That's what I want.
That's good.
That's good?
Yeah, I like that.
Right on. That's like the first objection that I get. I love this idea of writing down objections and then turning it into an FAQ because I've not done that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's great. I am absolutely because like one of the things on my to-do list right now is to write the FAQ.
Okay. I never really thought about it.
No, so that was really cool. I like that. That was like the one objection.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's like when people come to me and they like say they have this idea and they want to go forward with it, I usually like just stop them. It's like you need to plan for it. You have to like add some design. Otherwise, developers don't know what you want. You're gonna change what you want. So this kind of helps you too.
Yeah. I did a lot of. Like I got laid off third round of downsizing 16 months ago. And when I was interviewing, I wanted to make sure that the company that I was going to go work for had an understanding of setting a big FT for success. I wanted to know who their project manager was, what their background was, who their VP of technology was, what their background was. Do you have any wireframes? Are you willing to create some? And all the time I would hear, you don't have any wireframes. Can't you just start writing code? Like all these things. And so one of the reasons why I decided to get into this roadmap business
over 50 years
is
old.
that it just
This is
happens.
all this life. And what I show you is how to think.
And then I went and I googled software roadmap to find out why
And
they don't know it.
increases
And the funny thing is, if you Google software roadmap, you get results from product. Not actually have anything at all to do with software. And so it turns out that they don't know how to do this because they've never heard
They love
it.
working with
And then I thought,
because they know
the
exactly
glass
what's
company I worked for, they had a different
little
process
bit of
for that
information that creates volumes of
And I took all my favorite parts of all those different processes. put them in
So
one.
something that you might want to consider.
And that's where we're at. We're going to be
Well, I
actually
understand how
we
you
have
feel.
I was running our first workshop
In this case,
completely free for 5-star. Do you know anybody who's in an early stage that you would like to have that experience and work for that type of business?
Yeah, by find someone you know. Because I always find lots of startups. So.
Yeah, there's plenty out there. I just want to make sure that they're prepared for what they're getting into.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a business card?
Yeah. This is my old one. I used to do simple work to you, so don't let it through. I don't have any business yet. I put it together myself. I can't say I designed
I get really
it.
What about that?
What's free?
I'm surprised I haven't.
Yeah, me neither. Do you go to like a lot of meetups and stuff?
Yeah, I used to host. Actually, I'm gonna start up a new one here in the future. My doggy bag. For my dog.
7-week program.
So,
How
you
much
want to try and
you
sell me so we come up with an objection?
Sure, let's try. Okay. So I'm the founder of Sozotech, and so we focus on mobile app solutions, and we work closely with our customers to help with ideation, design, development, deployment, and post-innovations of mobile app solutions. And more importantly, we are focusing on mobile app marketing. So we want to customize apps branded directly to your restaurant or business, whatever you're doing, and we want to be able to retain customers that you have, as well as grow your customer base.
It's yours.
So we do this by adding loyalty rewards. So for example, in our video, you can also use so they use this app called Stampy. And basically what this does is that every time a customer spends $2, they get a stamp. And now that they get a certain number of stamps, they get $25 off their
And after
next
that,
purchase.
feel free to come
So
talk to us.
basically,
We can go over your business plan
we're
and kick it up.
promoting creating more app that is branded to your business. And provide more than just the loyalty rewards. It also has, built-in reward stamps or points like
Okay,
Starbucks
so
or something along those lines. However, it can be fully
Get a
customizable.
building that has it in it already.
Uh,
And when you
would
purchase,
you be
or if you
interested?
purchase a
Well, I was
separate.
talking about triple the
You got me.
revenue.
Kind of have two offers in there. There's development, and then there's the app itself.
Great.
So I'm a little confused which one you're trying to sell me.
So I understand why you feel that there's two offers going on there, and other businesses have felt the same way. But actually, they're
however, not but. Remember, but. However, you have to take but of your language. If you stand on the stage in front of professional community, but has to come out.
Okay.
But it hasn't happened.
However,
From my
they're one and the same. We are providing a mobile app that is branded towards your company, and the loyalty rewards are built inside of it. Instead of having these paper stamps that you have in coffee and people using it all the time, now it's built into the app. And that's just one feature that you can have. You can also add a menu or anything else you want, and it's fully customizable.
Okay. Did I hit a common objection? Did I hit a common objection? Or you still nabbing them?
Not a common one, but I've heard it before.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, most
Okay,
of them
so
say, like,
let's get together again. How was? Do you need more time?
debriefing.
So how was this experience? How did you feel? Like number two, how did you feel when you were trying to overcome this objection?
uncomfortable.
Okay. Any other feelings?
I actually felt calmer than I have in the past. Right? Some of it was he was sort of interested but not, then he played the role of objecting. But I initially forgot to follow this, and when I followed the feel whatever, it gave me a
It's
sense-
feel, felt, found.
Yeah, yeah. and
It's
once I-
3 F's.
Yeah, so once I followed that, I felt calmer. Because I
Calm.
felt
I'm
like
excited about her
Yeah.
future.
yeah, but I'm passionate about it. So
Yeah. And this is the biggest challenge. The challenge I had because many of my companies will carry my technology, which I developed through my PhD and whatever. So I was so excited about it. It's a computer vision and they do that. People don't care. People care about it gives them secure, it gives them safety, few other stuff. So it's very, if you are aware that you are passion and overwhelming the opposition, what you will do? You will fix it. So there is nothing wrong with your passion. Actually, enthusiasm, you read one of the topic here, we talk about enthusiasm is number one key to sell. If you are not enthusiastic about your product, which means at 10 o'clock at night, when you be so tired, you go sleep, you don't sell. Because you will burn more potential than what you can sell. So when you go sell, when I go and I'm selling, I have to be relaxed, I have to be funny, I have to be calm, I have to be enthusiastic about what I do. If I have something inside me, like I'm like you, I'm like everybody. We'll have the ups and downs, ups and downs. We try to minimize the downs and maximize the ups. I don't go around. When I have my downs, I don't go sell. And this is the luxury we have as a business owner, that we don't need to sell on a daily basis like a regular salesman. However, if the down will be for so long, we will not be able to make money at the end of the month. Okay? So, did you find this script helps you in the beginning?
Yeah,
After you feel
definitely.
uncomfortable?
Yeah. Because like I don't have to keep thinking about what I would say, or I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, you're right. Right? I actually have something to kind of follow.
If you say you are right, this is the shutdown for the conversation.
Yeah.
So you have to agree, but not affirm. If Mike will come and tell me, I don't like this workshop and it's so boring. I know this material. I'm not sure how many of you think about this, like this waste of time. I say, I know how do you feel. If I say yes, what he will do. He will not even leave us the rest of the Tim Horton man. He will take the Tim Horton with him and go away. But when I deal with this objection, I say, many of you will feel that because you are more advanced than the others, and everybody will feel that. However, this educational has to have step by step so people can open up, and then we can have a conversation so you can listen. So the more you stay here, I guarantee you it's not waste of your time, and you will learn stuff which you never heard about it, which will enable your business to go to the second level by converting more prospects or clients or leads. But if I say yes, I agree with you, it's very boring. You know, we do this out of our ego. Because what will happen when you say, like this workshop has no value? Are you more intelligent than me, Kate? No. I'm more intelligent guy in the room. Because I'm on the stage. This is what they call me, but I'm not. So it will intimidate me, and I will come back and say, oh yeah, I have to agree with you. Because we always say client is always right. So this is how internally will work. That's why when we talk about the top 10 quality, is you judge what you decide about what this means to you. If this is just because you are busy, because you are bored, because you are thinking about your loved ones, because you are really want time to pass by, because you have a nice date at the end. Do you have a nice date today?
Do I have one?
Yeah. Oh, you have a school.
Yeah.
You have a school parent teaching. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's busy about that, this may be why he's trying to find the reason for him. Okay? Any other sharings? It feels good?
Yeah.
The expert people.
Yeah, was good actually.
Did you able to sell him something?
Hmm?
It's very hard to have two people selling the same thing in one group. It's very interesting.
He was able to sell me a sit down,
Yeah.
because he took away all the objections. And the only thing remaining was come sit down for a discovery session. I even said to him, I can't meet with you this month. He says, oh, we'll get together next month.
We could collaborate then.
Yeah, and the most important part of this event, like we have people in VIP seats, people in general seats, and if you are interested to go to the VIP, I will show you how and why you should do that. But the reason for me to try to get more people in the room, because we need to hear different people's opinion. Because I learn from you guys, and when somebody will say, now I have to ask the other side. Number one, did you practice this as well? Did you have a time to sell?
Yes.
To overcome objections?
Yes.
Did you have different feelings you want to share? Or it was the same feeling? More or less?
Well, for me, I forgot one important aspect, which I heard from you, is I didn't close the deal with him. Like I didn't take away all the objections. But if I said to him, I guarantee the results if after I tried to sell in my boot camp, grow your business with boot camp. So I guarantee you 100% refund if after 3 sessions of the 7-week session you don't like it. I give you full money back, no pressure back. I forgot that, and that would have basically taken away every objection.
So what Shamir brings up is a very serious thing. The word guarantee is this one of these power words. Okay? The guarantee will remove the objection of people who care about the time and people who care about money. Money back guaranteed, it is, as we live and we must breathe air, nothing else than air with oxygen, we must have money back guarantee. And you can put all the caveats that we will not give you your money back. We will always talk about your small investment coming to join the program, but you always have a money back guarantee. You must have a way to refund money. People in a small business say, oh, I barely can make it. I cannot pay anybody money back. You know what? If you don't give the guarantees and you cannot give a way out, you are actually cutting your business. People will not buy from you. So you can give a try. I know when you install an elevator is different, because when you install it, you cannot give them their money back. They cannot return it. I understand that. But it must be some guarantees to compensate them. If you didn't like the design in the first 1 month, we will come at our cost, sit with you and address your concern. This is as if it's a money back guarantee. You know, they give you cars to drive. Like what's her name? I was with someone on Saturday, and she bought on Friday a brand new Chrysler, because she was driving by and she went inside the Chrysler dealer because she cannot go on the traffic light, and they convinced her to take a car to drive home on Wednesday. On Thursday, her husband went and bought the car, and she has the car on Friday. It's amazing because they give you the experience. You know you can take the car, you know you can give it back, you know when you buy the car for the first week or two, if you don't like it, you can return it and get full refund. How many of us will refund it? How many of us still keep some products with the receipt attached to it, sometimes taped to it on the box, because they have the intention to go to return it within the 30 days grace period, and they don't do that. And they end up having, like, I'm one guy who found stuff like 3 years old in my garage, and I took it to Costco, and the Costco policy,
They don't care.
they don't care. And because they don't care, they get my $100 a year membership. And because they don't care, I prefer to buy stuff from there. And we buy stuff, we are only 3 people in the house. So why do you want to buy this big sack of whatever? So when we have another course which we talk about this particular item, is how you can put your actual marketing brochure together, and when you talk about the guarantees and when they play them. But you brought this a very good point, which is guarantee, money back guarantee, or satisfaction guarantee will take the objections from trying. And I'm not sure, Michelle, how many of these guarantees on side your...
Yeah, that's
We
what
don't
I'm
want to
saying.
talk.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk
Yeah.
about this. You told me don't talk about it. I'm not talking about it, okay?
Because in the Pilates and fitness industry, I've never seen that.
No, they give guarantees. Even World Health and everybody will give guarantees.
Yeah, like any of the Pilates studios that I've attended, I've never seen it. You
That-
pay for your class and that's it.
But you give them satisfaction. You give them
Yeah, you give sentiment.
guarantees that the class will be, you'll be happy in the class, and if any fight will happen, they will refund the course value. If
You're not
any,
satisfied with the class.
if any, we've seen it before. When you have a disagreement and you fight with the coach or with whatever somebody, you get the session for free, and they may give you a supplement session. I was one time. I love to go to Landmark. I don't like Cineplex. It's not because they have this new nice seating right now. It's because one time we went there, we watched the whole movie. In the last 5 minutes, one of the speakers blown out, and people actually will worry that it's a terrorist act against the Landmark Cinema in Harvest Hills. There were people concerned that this might be a terrorist attack, because of like boom. And I was sitting with my kids in the my kid and and his nephew in the very first rows, and we heard it. We stand there for 5 minutes, don't know what to do. We watch the last 5 minutes of the movie, and on our way back, on our way out, they gave us 3 free tickets. They give everybody inside the theater a free ticket, and the discount on the next condominium as well. So I love to go to Landmark. Even when they got acquired by this Belgian company and they raised their prices as similar to Cineplex, I still love to go there because, you know, can you imagine? I paid for one movie. It was like at the last 5 minutes, we had this boom, and we were able to watch the rest of the movie with the lower quality sound. And now we have to see another movie. And I come to you today and talk about it. So all of you guys now are aware that this Landmark is a good movie. They cannot buy this from an ad. So guarantee, it's a must have. The difference between a professional marketing material and the non-professional will not have guarantee. You need to have at least 3 guarantee, and this is for another course. Anybody wants to share any other experience in this practice? Did you feel it's good? Okay. Can you use it? Remember, feel, felt, found. Everybody feels the same, and you address with what they found is, I feel you, everybody else or our early adopter have the same feeling, and what the next one will be? However, they found out that our service is. There are more scripts to do. Okay? Now, and you please try to visualize this whenever you are in this order. And if you talk to any clients and you don't address in your pitch the money, the relationship, the process, the time to deliver, or the time to impact, or the time to feel the value, like you will not be able to convert many sales. So we have, we talk about the top 10 tips dealing with objections. So number one is you need to take your time. So did any of you, when they tried to overcome objections, they pause for like 10 seconds or half a minute? You need to take your time. You need to pause. Why do you pause?
To gather your thoughts, or?
No, I already. I studied this workbook. So next Saturday when you come in the working group, you need to memorize all of this. Huh?
It has a calming effect on the guy that's irritated.
And
Yourself.
what else? What else?
You get full attention. It's like that.
And what else? There's one most important thing. When I pause, who is talking? Who keep talking? The prospects. So if the prospects has more than one objection, what will happen if I pause?
That will show.
He will spell out and. So this will give me a better control situation where I can control the discussion by listening and overcome all the objections at once. You need to clarify the objection. Don't waffle. For us, don't waffle. Don't say, Because what this will show, if you waffle, what will show?
Or you're on your heels, basically.
You are uncertain of your offer. Remember, we believe that's our solution. And if you don't believe that your solution will convert lives, don't lie to yourself, okay? Figure out to sell something else. You have to be in a position where I personally know that anybody will come through this learning, will walk away from the room, have tools to use right now to be able to be a better person and sell more products or sell more service or get people to join his tribe. The minute you walk at 4 o'clock from this door, or at 5 o'clock if you want to stay for the extra session from 4 to 5, I guarantee that. And I'm very confident, and many people will tell me, that's why I always record myself, because at the very beginning I will start to figure out my space, and once I own the space I just go. People just say, like, we feel it, like, you know these things, it's in your body. So if you waffle, it means I'm not certain. Okay? Number 4, it's very important. You need to choose words carefully. So I have a friend who I was trying to convince him to come to this workshop, but he's just like all these people who are hard-minded. They don't want to change because they feel comfortable where they are. He runs a store, and in his store, what he will do when somebody will come and say, "Oh, your price is too expensive," they say, "You know what? Can you do this for like 50 instead of 200?" He say, "You know, if I can do it for a 50, I will not ask you for the 200." This exact wording he uses. He's a very successful businessman. He has so many businesses, but he never got any training in sales. And I keep telling him, like, you are basically, this is the time where you can have the glory. When somebody will come and say, why your software is $1,000? Why you cannot, do you accept $750? Will you give me a discount? This is the time to glory, to have the glory, to say, I am glowing now. Because it's $1,000, which is a small investment of your time, because this is what you get, and this is what you do, and this is what we do. But everything you say, it must be true, with a high level of integrity. But when somebody asks you to get less money, this is the time to try to articulate more on the value the customer will get. Okay? So when you say try, we will try to do that. It means, I'm not sure, I'm not certain. Customers will not like to buy from people who will try to do things. Okay? Number 5, you need to take a deep breath. Watch your pace. Watch your pace, the pace of your speech. Many of us, when we got objections, we will be nervous. So what will happen when you be nervous?
Talk fast.
You'll talk too fast. I used to talk, I speak French first, so I can speak at a pace which nobody will be able to catch me. I know that. So if you are aware, you will control it. So you have to make sure when somebody will say, oh no, it doesn't work, I don't like it, you don't get offended, you be calm, quiet, and you shine. Number 7, you have to listen. Listen, listen. If you are the one, like many people will tell you, if you, the silent guy, the quiet guy, the listener, is the one in control of conversation. Because when you listen and you don't like it, you say, oh, you know, it's enough, I'm leaving. So you have to listen. You don't talk much. Time yourself how much you talk, or record yourself. Each one of us has an iPhone right now, or some sort of Samsung or whatever, and see how much you talk. You should talk at most 25% of the time. At most 25%. Because you are there to discover what the customer needs. Answer the right question, the right objections. Number 9, ask a question. And number 10, it's very important. Remember that you cannot lose. Answer the right objection. What do you mean the right objection? Because when somebody say I'm not interested or a no, it means what? It means I cannot. I'm not doing like. There is another objection behind it. Ask a question, and number 10 is very important. Remember that you cannot lose what you haven't got. So, did you have the sale? Will you lose the sale if you don't control your attitude? So, you cannot lose what you haven't got, which means you have to calm yourself down. You have to be cool because you have no sale, and you are working through the sale. Okay? Any questions?
You have highlight this right answer the right objection. What is the right objection?
When somebody is coming and tell you I have no time to listen to you, is the real objection he has no time? Is not. So we ask more questions to declare the real objection. Right now is 10 to 11, so we should go for a break according to this schedule, and we will come back in 10 minutes. If people wants to have the working lunch, if people wants to go to lunch, we can go to lunch. If you want to go, if you got your own lunch, if you want to grab lunch and come back, you can. But we will convene here at noon, and here is the schedule for the day. So, however you didn't get it, yes, you can. Any more questions before you go?
So we're having like a
10 minutes.
Right through the.
Oh yeah, till
Okay.
5 o'clock.
So we should, if we're gonna have lunch, we should go grab lunch until we're here.
Yes.
Right now? Okay.